My reason to be here
afternoon. Hello. Good morning. Hi, everyone. I think we're going to get started. Hi, everyone. We're going to get started with the Tech Pitch Contest. My name is Sarah Schlotter. I'm a patent agent at Wolf Greenfield & Sachs, an intellectual property law firm out of Boston, New York, and DC. Before we begin with our tech pitches, I want to make sure we get our lovely judges in the front row introduced. So if you could all come up and just briefly introduce yourself. Come along.
All together, right?
Yeah. I mean, one after another, ideally, but... And you have to use the podium.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Do you want to hold that?
We get the microphone? Yeah, just hold that. I'm definitely a man girl now.
All right, so I am John Hill. I'm the evangelist at Techstars, essentially chief storyteller. Techstars is the largest investor of early stage tech companies in the world. So we've done all right for ourselves, been around for 15 years, actually coined the term accelerator. Just to set the stage of what we're doing for support with the companies here, if any of these founders were to reach out to you and say, hey, I want to learn a little bit more about who you are and what you're about, by show of hands, how many of you would take that call? All right? And if you don't raise your hand, you're going to hell.
Oh, me?
Hi, John and I used to work together at Techstars, so a lot of Techstars alum here. I really encourage all of you who are founders, apply to Techstars. They have a great program. I am Lila Partridge. I was in Tech Capital. I've been at Techstars. I'm a serial founder. I'm now founding a new company that's going to help hardware companies with their early stage funding challenges, and excited to be here and looking forward to hearing from the founders.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elisa Band. I'm an investment manager at Henkel Tech Ventures. We're the venture arm of Henkel Adhesives. We're the Loctite company. Adhesives, coatings, sealants. We typically invest in Series A, but we collaborate as early as a concept. Material space, electronics, packaging, construction, and all of that good stuff. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Janice Collins. I co-founded a company called The Refinery. I run a program, co-lead a program called the Innovation to Impact at Yale. I'm a mentor, advisor, and angel investor.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Wagner. I run a company called GoodRx. Before that, I was the CEO of a company called GoDaddy for a while. And then before that, I was a partner at the private equity firm KKR. So I'm one of those people that started in the investment world and then actually went to go build something. So to everybody who's got an idea to go build it, hats off and real credibility to you. It's making stuff happen. It's nice to be here.
Thank you, judges. So the way this will work, every pitch team gets 5 minutes, and then we're actually going to hold questions from the judges until the end. So I think to begin, we've got Clarity AI.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike, and my co-founder here is Stephen, and we are the founders of Clarity, a data solutions organization focusing on humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. So I'd like to take us back to February 6th this year when a devastating 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck Turkey and Syria. Now, the initial reports were catastrophic, and they read that 2,500 people died. However, a few weeks later, the ground truth revealed that the numbers were way higher than anticipated, with 55,000 people dead, 10 million people in need of aid and displaced, and over $100 billion of estimated damage as a result of the earthquake. Now, I've actually spent the last decade and a half in the special operations community planning and conducting crisis missions all around the world. So I know just how important that first report is. It needs to be timely, it needs to be accurate, it needs to be shared across organizations, and it needs to be multimodal. Right now, through research and interviews, disaster relief organizations are not achieving that goal effectively. So we at Clarity have sought out to build a platform with my experience in latest technology to resolve those issues. This is a demo that incorporates 4 pillars: social media news queuing, generative AI interface, build and share reports, and satellite imagery analysis. Right now, we're looking at open source information being ingested into the platform. This is Twitter. We also have the ability to see a BBC News article being ingested. We also plan to incorporate live NASA data as well as AppLib predictive models to demonstrate when a region is being destabilized. We also want to incorporate proprietary on-the-ground data from our end users down the road. Following this portion, we're going to be able to aggregate the data and utilize generative AI models to very rapidly build a report and query the information, which is critical for this initial portion of the disaster. Right now, we're using APIs from GPT-4, GPT-3.5, and Google Bard. However, we do plan to build our own language models to have that proprietary data for our end users and the security that's necessary for them. Here we can see the end user actually chatting and interrogating the data, extracting what's relevant for them. And now we're going to export a report, edit it to create that cohesiveness across the community that's necessary. Down the road, we plan to incorporate a live share feature on the platform to create that coordination that's necessary again. And then lastly, we're going to go into our satellite imagery analysis toolset where we can look at pre- and post-disaster images. And we're going to utilize our machine learning algorithms to rapidly analyze damage where it has occurred, to rapidly allocate resources where they're needed the most. So as you can see here, if you have the proper data, you can very rapidly figure out what's happening on the ground to provide resources to save lives where they're needed the most during a crisis.
Thanks. So Clarity sits at the intersection of two rapidly growing fields, social media and geospatial analytics, which both have predicted CAGRs of over 20% for the next 5 years. Right now, we're focused on disaster relief intelligence for large government and multilateral institutions, like the State Department and the UN, which brings that large TAM down to a service obtainable market of around $25 million per year. Now, a critical problem that these large institutions face is communicating across organizational lines. Right now, watch officers at state use WhatsApp and Signal to speak with responders on the ground. One platform that everyone can use will save lives. So to create this network of users, we have a tiered pricing model, where large institutional players like the State Department pay more to be able to generate and distribute reports, which then subsidizes the local responders who can receive reports, but then also critically add their on-the-ground insights to the broader network. We also plan to partner with satellite imagery providers to allow users to purchase imagery through the platform. So there are several companies providing parts of this service, but they either focus on a narrow problem set, which creates communication issues and data silos, or they build expensive, proprietary, customized solutions, which precludes any network of users. A piecemeal approach to this problem has actually created many of the issues that users face today. Clarity is the only company building an end-to-end solution. So right now, we're raising money to add to our engineering talent and to purchase additional data streams. We are in frequent contact with the State Department, and we plan to pilot our MVP with them when it's complete at the end of the summer or early fall. This is our team. So as Mike mentioned, he has deep experience on the ground with the SEAL teams, responding to crisis all over the world. He knows what operators need, and he's used every platform out there, and he knows that we can do better. I was also in the Navy before coming here to school, but I spent my time on ships, generally collecting the intelligence that got sent to guys like Mike on the ground. Yichin is a researcher here at the School of the Environment who does all of our AI work with our imagery, and Braden is a brilliant full-stack developer. We're lucky enough to have Ambassador Harry K. Thomas as a close advisor. He's a 3-time ambassador and former director of the Operations Center at the State Department. He provides invaluable insight into how the international community and the U.S. government responds to natural disasters. We're building a tool to provide clarity in the most difficult environments. We'd love to speak with you if you want to be a part of it. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Clarity. So up next, we're going to have Jiayi Wang with some audio.
Hello, mic check. I hope that was not too much of a heavy topic for you guys. Now we're switching to something more lighthearted. Oh no, but the first sentence. The music industry is broken. I want to tell you how broken it is. 95% of decline in physical sales since 1999. Why is that? Spotify, SoundCloud. What did it do to musicians? Musicians are making a hard life right now out of their career. And what's even worse is that tech is broken. 25% of royalty was lost due to inaccurate metadata tracking. And that comes down to 8.2 billion of US dollars in 2022 alone. This is why we came across different industries to try to solve this problem. Well, people say that music NFTs are the new form of sales. Sure, people are doing that. Royal.io, I'm a royal customer to them. And people say that blockchain solves royalty tracking issues. Sure, I love that. But what Sonadia is building is that missing piece that we desperately needed, which is the engagement layer. What we're doing essentially is we're building the Patreon and the CRM to musicians. We're also building the Amex, the loyalty program for artists, artist superfans like you and me. As an ex-guru, I desperately needed something like that so I can show personal support to my artists. And we took the best of blockchain technology and applied that to the use case of music. And we think that's where the next wave of mass adoption is going to be. To make it simpler, tech is our foundation, royalties is our unit of economics, and utility NFTs, by that I mean NFTs that are tied to real-life perks like discount codes, access to events, and anything that you would like as a superfan. And we use that as a medium to drive what we call our listen to earn business model. And how it works is that it's a two-sided incentive mechanism. The explicit loot refers to the audience who would earn utility-backed NFTs as a reward as they listen. And we would design quests and challenges for them. And these challenges include sharing music, user-generated content with AI, maybe. And now they have that reward, they can redeem it for offline perks, as I mentioned. And for the artist, it's more implicit because they generate their revenue through streaming, which is increased by increased engagement, and because they earn their royalties from NFT sales and resales, now they're more incentivized to give better rewards to their fans. That way, we generate a loop, which is healthy, and everybody is actively giving and taking. So how we execute this is that we set up milestones where people can listen, engage, and they would mint their NFTs in their wallet, and they could trade and exchange on marketplace to participate in the community. There would also be a leaderboard where people can see their scores and track their streak of challenges. So how does the implicit loop work? This is a special formula that we came up with. And instead of the number of streams like how Spotify does it, or popularity, we take the time out of total streaming time from user to determine how much this artist could earn, and hence the listen to earn model. What's even better is that we don't pool the royalties, we do it in a decentralized manner. It goes through smart contracts, so every single rights holder, including producers, studios, managers, record labels, they will own their fair share of royalties automatically by the end of the month. And what's even better, like I mentioned, it's an implicit incentivism mechanism. So now users, if they're a super fan and they happen to be hyper engaged, they earn an exclusive NFT, they have the rights to customize allocation of royalties to their favorite artist. So if I pay $10 to the platform, I have the rights to determine that $10 goes to artist A. This is where we are now. We're launching soon. It's going to soft launch with 25 artists. And we're aiming for a full launch beginning next year. We're also planning for something big, a grants project that will support musicians and their careers in Web3. So we're hoping to bring in metaverse partnerships and host our live streams there, which is part of the earning process. And this is a demo. We're also trying to do crowdfunding. Oh. Sorry, but I missed the last slide. But if you are interested in our project, please scan our QR code on my phone later. And follow us on social media. We do podcast series trying to educate the community. We also do offline workshops where we get musicians together and discuss the technology and help them out with setting up wallets and all that. So if you're a musician or you're someone who's into music, come chat.
Up next, we'll have Renato Carregha with NAOS.
Hi, I'm Renato, founder of Now's Blockchain, and I'm about to pitch a crypto investment project. When I say that today, I get a lot of eye rolls and a lot of people losing interest immediately. But let's zoom out. If you had invested in Bitcoin 10 years ago, you'd have made almost 31,000% versus about 360% on NASDAQ. If you compare that to what a Mexican consumer could have made on their stock market, which is less than 50% in 10 years, we see why this is a compelling investment case. We know this is a very volatile asset, and I'm pitching in the middle of the third crypto winter. However, we also know because of modern portfolio theory that very volatile assets with great returns have a space in a balanced portfolio. I'm not saying you should put your mortgage into this, but I am saying you should consider dipping your toes with 1 to 5%. If you're an American, there's many ways to do this. If you don't want to trade, there's ETFs, you can go to funds, you can go to DeFi solutions, and there's simply several resources. If you're a Latin American, there's not. Latin Americans today are thirsty for crypto. Volumes grew 40% last year despite the market downturn. 51% of financially connected Latin Americans have now made at least one transaction involving crypto. So we know that this region wants crypto. As a last number I'll share, Mexico has more people today with an account on the main crypto exchange than all stock brokerages combined. In 2016, I founded Mexico's first crypto investment fund. In that time, we've served over 600 clients, generated and validated a strong legal model, and created a bespoke backend that runs all of it. Now, we're taking the next step. We're leveraging our know-how, our validated legal model, and our backend to create a mass market solution that will enable middle-class Latin Americans to invest in crypto portfolios simply but powerfully. We have a rockstar team to do this with experience in traditional finance, in entrepreneurship, in fintech law, and in crypto. We're creating a much, much prettier front end that will enable us to serve a mass market automatically with educational content, a risk profiling quiz that tells you what percentage of your savings you should be investing in crypto, tells you how to allocate across your different portfolios, and a suite of different portfolios to match these different risk profiles. Our model has essentially no barriers to entry with investment from $100. We can afford this because we run our own administration and we run our own funds. Extremely low operating costs that match what you would get just buying once on an exchange. And differentiated portfolios that are managed by us to suit different risk profiles and different appetites of exposure to this market. With this model, we hope to create opportunities for Latin Americans to earn superior returns, to increase financial literacy and become interested in these new technologies, and finally, to spark curiosity. I'll end on an anecdote. Since founding the fund in 2016, 4 of our clients have gone on to make their own crypto investment funds, and we could not be prouder. We're currently building the next step to increase this to the mass market, and we would love for you to participate. Thank you.
up next, we'll have Next Unicorn.
Hi everyone. Imagine you are hiring 20 new sales reps. At Next Unicorn, we clone personalities for sales training purposes. Did you know that in the US, over 8,000 sales reps are being hired every single day? That accounts to $160 billion loss because it takes over 11 months to train them. Next Unicorn reduces training time by 88%.
Thank you, Seb. And how do we do this? We do this with our SaaS solution, Next Unicorn, which can be divided into 4 different parts. Firstly, our bot joins sales calls with clients and takes notes and analyzes the call. Then, from the sales calls, by fine-tuning large language models on the sales calls themselves, we can replicate a client's mannerisms and ways of communication. When you then train your new sales rep, we provide training simulations where your new sales reps can have sales conversations with the cloned personalities to train in simulated sales calls. After this training, we generate a report on the persuasiveness and product knowledge of the sales representative using our proprietary machine learning model for continual improvement.
Admittedly, in the AI space, there's a lot of people claiming to do things, but maybe not having the underlying technology. We are not that company. We are not a concept. Over the last 7 months, we've been working full-time with 3 also software developers on our team, developing this technology. We are not a concept. We've completed our phase 1. And now we actually have the AI sales bot. We have the web browser tool, which provides the evaluation reports. And most importantly, we have the proprietary machine learning model that we work with and we have designed to work with our sales organizations. NVIDIA, $1 trillion company, they saw the vision. We met with them a couple months ago, and they have given us $150,000 in funding to budget for our compute power training process that's going to continue to build on our language models. They're also going to be providing us with advisory with some people on their team. In addition, earlier this year, we raised a pre-seed funding round with a very prestigious investor who has now joined us as part of the advisory board. We are obsessed with our customers. We want to understand how we can use this technology in a very real way to actually help salespeople become better and help companies to increase their revenue and to get their products out there. We have done over 50 case studies with various sales organizations. We have now a wait list of 20 enterprise clients, including some you can see up there, like Oracle, Southwest Airlines, and ClickUp. And even in the last couple of weeks, we spent a week in Nashville, Tennessee, with one of our customers, meeting with their sales team, figuring out their pain points, and figuring out ways how we can create functionalities for them. We are extremely excited today to announce that we have officially opened up our seed round for investment. As we continue to execute on our phase 2 process, where we're going to actually be rolling out this product, as well as building upon our cloning technology, where we're going to be able to develop a character library of various different customers that people in sales can use for training before they talk to the real customer. And we are very excited about this, and I'm going to pass it on to Seb now.
Thanks, Nate. So our team. I have extensive experience in sales and operations. I co-founded a dating app that I grew from 0 to 100,000 users in less than a year. That app is still running today under a different name. I have a BS degree in economics and physics at the University of Florida.
I'm Lukas Nel. I co-founded a successful Cape Town-based software consulting firm. I'm a researcher at the AVLSI lab at Yale University, where we design computer chips to make AI models faster. And I'm a BS candidate of electrical engineering, computer science, and mathematics at Yale College.
And I'm Nate Shantz. I'm an MBA candidate here, just wrapping up here at the Yale School of Management. I started off my career in investment banking, and then I worked on 2 separate ventures from founding stage to go public. Collectively, each of those ventures in total raised over $100 million in capital.
Our advisors, they're our investors. Thomas Gilligan, he sits on the board of Southwest Airlines and is a former director at Stanford University. We have 3 amazing full-time engineers that are working day and night to help us achieve our vision. So join us in our journey to build the next unicorn!
All right, so up next we have, I believe, Mod AI.
We all remember the first time we used an iPhone and how transformative that technology was in changing our lives. Generative AI is another transformative technology, and it's at the beginning stages of its iPhone moment. And services like ChatGPT really are only scratching the surface of the possibilities of this core technology. The market for AI and ML is huge, and the race to implement this technology is ongoing. In fact, $2 billion was raised for generative AI startups in Q1 of this year alone. But the scope, utility, and opportunity of generative AI is still not yet fully understood. And I agree with Ken's quote here, that the future of generative AI is niche and specialized. I'm a machine learning research scientist, and in my previous work, I wish I had better tools to do my job better. I'm fully confident that Modly and generative AI can provide these tools, and as a result, revolutionize the way that machine learning research is done today. Let me explain the problem. Each one of these objects in the background represents a machine learning experiment. Each experiment consists of a data set, picking a unique model to train on that data set, and then evaluating that model. There are over 10 million annual machine learning experiments that fuel the AI and ML market today. This experimentation is really slow and tedious, I can tell you. It was my day job. There's a lot of redundancy also in the community in regards to which models and experiments the community are testing. And unfortunately, there are limited tools to really make this process easier. And here's my vision. As a generative AI, Modly can learn from and leverage a community's worth of experimentation to provide a more effective way to share and extend machine learning knowledge, completely transforming the way that machine learning research is done today. To do this, we're building the generative AI to suggest the best model for any machine learning task, data set, and target requirements. In contrast, if you look on the right, today's workflows require the training and evaluation of many models until you arrive at the best one. With Modly, you can bypass all of that experimentation altogether, using a low-code solution that utilizes insights derived from the community. And here's a use case example to iterate things further. Imagine you're tasked with building a machine learning tool to assist radiologists in their detection of pneumonia. Well, in today's workflows, a research scientist would have to devise dozens of experiments, where each experiment they're picking a unique model to train and evaluate. To even decide which models to experiment with, they read research papers, they look to machine learning community platforms. They can use an AutoML, which can select a model for them, but often AutoMLs aren't applicable to every problem. So ultimately, researchers still default to manual experimentation when optimization of performance is still critical. In the end, discovering a model that satisfies your task can take months. And this is how Modly expedites the process. Simply put, Modly suggests the best community-derived model for your data set and your target requirements in one shot. You can think about Modly as your go-to coworker. A single ML tool with extensive machine learning knowledge that can support all of your machine learning research projects seamlessly and simultaneously. The next few years will be transformative as AI and machine learning continue to grow. And we're building Modly to revolutionize machine learning R&D and how it's done today. By making researchers more effective innovators, enabling them to have an even greater focus on breaking new ground, all to accelerate the application of machine learning. This is the Motley Crew. We are so excited to contribute to how generative AI will impact the world using our deep expertise in AI, machine learning, and building successful companies. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you to the Yale Innovation Summit.
Up next, we have Wealth Me Up.
Hello.
So hello everyone, I'm Feli. I'm an MBA student at Yale SOM and a European lawyer with more than 8 years of experience in financial services. And together with an amazing team of professionals, including Andrew, we are working on a mission to democratize access to wealth management. Our project is called Wealth Me Up, and what we are trying to do is build a platform that provides personalized financial education with the aim to change financial behaviors through leveraging peer benchmarking. Let me walk you through an example that illustrates our mission. This is Vera. Vera is a highly accomplished professional. She's 30 years old, and she lives in New York City. She has a marketing degree from Yale, and she works as a marketing manager in a startup, earning around $100,000 per year. When we asked her how she spends her money, basically she said on lifestyle, and the rest sits in a dormant banking account. What she doesn't realize is that what she's doing now, meaning not taking leveraging her full financial potential, will significantly disadvantage Vera compared to her peers, and specifically compared to her male peers in the future. However, Vera does not see that now, and therefore is very unlikely to take any action to rectify that for the future. We tend to think about financial literacy as a problem that has to do with the underprivileged ones. However, I will tell you that more than 50% of individuals in the United States lack basic financial literacy knowledge. What is even more alarming is that Americans lose $430 billion annually because of financial illiteracy. Sadly enough, less than 10% has access to quality financial advice. And this is a problem that the market has recognized. And is trying to tackle it in two distinct ways. On the one hand, we have traditional financial advisory firms, and on the other hand, we have the so-called wellness platforms or budgeting tools that attempt to provide a better financial behavior. However, both of these solutions are not enough for people like Vera, simply because you cannot change someone who has not recognized their problem and their need to change. So now picture a platform that gives you an accurate depiction of your financial situation compared to your peers, which makes you prompt the change of your financial behavior and then educates you in an entertaining way. This is exactly our vision about Wealth Me Up. We have envisioned a platform, and you will see now a demo of how the platform works, that provides you an accurate depiction of how you stand compared to your peers, leveraging current and historical data with respect to investing, budgeting, debt management, and credit score. In other words, we are leveraging the power of peer benchmarking to initiate behavioral change, which is going to promote financial behavioral change and financial inclusion. And there is a vast market opportunity for that, with more than 180 million individuals who have the potential to advance their financial circumstances, but are currently do not do so. We have carefully tested the tool with more than 500 users, and we have validated our idea. But most importantly, what we have seen is that more than 70% effectiveness rate with respect to with respect to the effect of financial knowledge, and also with respect to changing financial behaviors. And we are continuing. We are a new team, but we continue quickly. We have already validated the process, and now we are ready for the next step, which is to increase our data library to make the tool accessible to more people. And this is why we are seeking funding from you. In this effort, I'm not alone. I have an impressive team of individuals with specialization in finance, product management, software engineering, and wealth management that we are building and testing this tool. But most importantly, we all believe in our core mission, which is to provide financial inclusion through innovation. And we just want to welcome you to our mission. Thank you so much.
And then last but not least, we have Feli Fried.
Great way to start it off. Hello, my name is Sophie Friedfeld. I'm the CEO and founder of Feli Fried, and I'm really excited to be here today. Feli Fried is a company that's going to revolutionize the way you shop for clothing and the way your clothing fits. And we do this through 3D body scanning technology right on your phone and a process we invented called just-in-time hemming. So what's this problem with fit? Clothes don't fit women at all. Because of vanity sizing, the average woman is 3 sizes in 3 brands on the same day. And clothing length is equally absurd. 74% of American women are petite, but only 4% of clothing comes in petite lengths. And just to demonstrate this problem, I have on the board the wonderful Marilyn Monroe, who's been often referred to as the perfect size 6. But today, she'd be 9 sizes in 9 different brands to be this perfect size 6. And just to demonstrate that, if you look at cost, she'd have a 33-inch bust, and in Madewell, she'd have a 36-inch bust. And even if she found a company or 2 companies that fit her bust at a size 35, like Aritzia and the Reformation, her jeans would either be too loose or too tight. Poor Marilyn and poor us. I just want clothing that fits. So why is this a problem besides annoying? Well, returns. 40% of all clothing bought online is returned. 25% of that is thrown out, causing an environmental disaster and financial for companies. And just to process returns, not including what it costs to throw the clothing out, it's $33 per order. And you might have guessed it, the number one reason people return clothing is fit. 70% of returns are due to fit. And so what are the solutions? Well, these are not working. Ready to wear is what we've gone over. Clothing doesn't come in multiple lengths, and sizes don't make sense. Tailoring, which has been hailed as a solution to ready to wear, doesn't really work because it costs a lot of time and money. I just went to get my pants tailored. Cost me $35 just to get it hemmed and 2 hours of my time. Going there, trying on the clothing, getting it hemmed, going back home, going back there in 2 weeks, paying for it, making sure it's the right length, and then going back home. I don't want to spend my time or money that way, and I don't think you guys do either. And so made to measure is the last solution on the market. But there's a reason we went away from it 100 years ago. It's incredibly costly, about 3 times the price of ready to wear. And it takes a lot of time, 8 to 10 weeks before you get your item. So we are the future and we are the solution. We combine all of these to make the right product for you. So we offer clothing without size tags, and we do this process called just-in-time hemming. So you're going to get clothing in your perfect length and your perfect size. We produce clothing in 2 long of lengths, Once you place the order, we ship clothes to your house in your right length and your right size. So to show how this works, you go on our website, you go to buy an item of clothing, you scan the QR code, you take 2 pictures, you don't even need to download an app. It costs us $1 per new customer. We get all these wonderful measurements on you. Customer goes to buy it, you never see your size again. There's no reason to feel size tag shame, which causes vanity sizing. We very quickly, in a standardized process, hem clothing. So we hem it in 4 different lengths. So it's completely returnable, just like menswear comes in different lengths. Our clothing comes in different lengths too, but we don't have to have that inventory, like the 4 times the inventory per each size to have 4 different lengths, and then the customer receives the garment in the mail. So we are launching with 4 different products. So we're launching with pants because in our surveys, we surveyed 100 women. 80% of women struggle to find pants in their right length. So we are launching with pants, and the prices for pants will be between $215 to $265, but we'll be shortly expanding to shirts, dresses, and skirts. And the reason we named it Freddie Freed is because we'll probably be a unisex brand, so we'll also be offering menswear. Freddie, my niece was just named Freddie, so it's totally girls named Freddie, boys named Freddie. And so just our team, I'm Sophie, I'm the CEO and the founder. I go to the Yale School of Environment. And before this, I was a stylist at LaFleur. We have Kelly Ligari, who is our designer, and she's worked for brands like Brooks Brothers and Kate Spade. So we'll be launching shortly. We've done a small friends and family raise to get the product to market. And then we'll be doing a pre-seed raise. And I hope we'll start selling clothing to you very shortly. Thank you so much.
No, you're not up first. So we actually have a little bit of extra time, so we're going to have all of our pitchers come back down, and the judges can ask any questions they've saved up.
All right, we're good. I guess you need to ask any Should we give them like 3 minutes? You guys are good with that?
All right, hey, let's, with our 12 minutes, we'll do this. Can the first team, we're going to go in order, and we're doing this real time, so let's just fire a couple things at you guys, and we're going to take 2 or 3 minutes and, and do it that way.
Awesome.
All right, go.
So my number one question, like I look at something like Palantir, what's your moat?
I think we have a couple modes. One is the proprietary data from the users on the ground providing us the insights. 2, the big one is that Palantir just is not interested in this product. They build expensive customized solutions that the State Department isn't willing to purchase. And they also have a lot of baggage. Disasters happen all over the world. Landslide in Israel or in like Iran, you can't use Palantir software to respond to that disaster.
How much are you charging? Who are you charging? Give me a little sense of your financial model.
Yeah, so I've experienced at an AI company selling to the government, and SaaS contracts to the DoD and State Department roughly are $4 million a year. So our main customer initially is going to be the watch floor at the State Department, and then also sell to 2 other U.S. departments, also the UN, and then the largest international responders, which would be France, Germany, the UK. And that will subsidize places like the Red Cross and then smaller NGOs.
A piece of advice and a compliment that you have, all of you, but you guys have a functioning product. You have a very narrow audience. Go sell it to the State Department. Like in some ways, it felt like if they buy it, you got something that you can build, and if not, maybe it's a feature that you're going to sell to somebody else. But in some ways, that's a little bit of a question on market, which is like if you can get the State Department to sign up, you got something.
You may have talked about it, but I missed it. What's your intellectual property?
So the machine learning algorithms for the imagery is proprietary right now, and then the other proprietary thing that we think will separate us is once we have the users on the ground providing data, that'll be a proprietary data source.
And the data you got from, that you've collected, the data that you use for your models?
Yeah, so right now we're using open source data that's available to anyone, right, commercially. But again, we're trying to get that proprietary data to have that inclusivity for our end users. And that's security both on the data end, but also on the large language model processing end.
Thank you.
Actually, I will ask a question tying into your comment. If your market is small and you have a few large customers, give it that. So you're mentioning that your product is a one-size-fits-all, or is it customized? Because if you do have very few customers, although they are paying well, I'm assuming that they would like the customized model.
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now we are in talks with the Department of State, and the idea behind that is to build a customizable solution for them. Right, we want to start off there. That being said, we believe that we can have a general platform that allows for users to go in from different organizations. And if we have larger contracts with, say, the United Nations, we can also build customized solutions for them. Maybe unique data sets, unique large language models that fit their needs.
We ran you over. All right, that was 4 minutes, and we'll maybe go 2 questions. Sandia?
It's Nadia.
Financial model. Tell me how you make money. Who your customer is, who's going to pay you, and why.
Yeah, so we call ourselves a Web 2.5, so we want to create a very familiar experience for the users. That's why we're collecting subscription fees, and on top of that, every transaction we take commission. So the user doesn't even know that they're using a Web3 platform. And subscription goes partially to the platform and the musicians and the rights owners. And on the commission, it's initial sale and resales.
Follow up. So, how many customers? How many artists? What's the volume? Right. There's a volume play, obviously. So, at what point are you break even, and how do you get there?
Interesting question. I think it depends on the size of the artist and how engaged the fans are, because the artists get to decide what the cost of the rewards are, and they get to decide what the price of the NFTs are. We're looking at a medium to small size influencers who are 5K to 20K followers, and we expect all of our artists right now are within that range. So all of them have around like 500 dedicated fans who are willing to spend hundreds of dollars on them. But when we get the numbers, the artist numbers higher, but right now in the current stage, we want to validate the tokenomics. That's why we're starting small with the beta, 25 artists, and then we'll expand after that.
Yeah.
Just a comment regarding partnerships with big players. I would think that that would be a nice route to market also.
I think so too. But we want to preserve our value proposition before we go to the big players, because we are an engagement app, and just like Patreon, we want to tailor to the influencers first before we become a service company to someone else. Thank you so much.
Hello. All right. I'll kick it off. Fees, your model, and how are you clean regulatory-wise?
Perfect.
Were you at Banamex? How do you make yourself rock solid from a regulatory standpoint, and then you didn't tell us how you're going to make money?
So we make money very simply. 2% a fee on your assets. And then we have 3 funds. 2 are robo-traded, 1 is discretionary. The discretionary charges 1.5 and then 20% on returns with a high watermark.
That's a lot. You're charging private equity fees for access to an asset. I'm pushing you because it's a good idea.
Thank
but
you.
That's
And
super
2%
expensive.
not on crypto. Standards on crypto are 230, 2.530. Here I'm charging you just 2% to get into the assets. On the Mexican exchange, you pay 65 basis points per trade. So, not that much. How are we rock solid? We went to 11 different legal firms. We finally got one. We made the lawyer a partner. And we made the lawyer a partner, expensive legal fees, but we got it. And then last year, we got validated by a top legal firm in Mexico, González Guaida, saying that our model actually works. Sorry, and regulatory authority too. The CNBV in Mexico validated.
Yeah.
So I'm not a financial investor or even investing in financial things, but just a comment, you might have an edge if you give visibility to the assets, that kind of window into what's being invested in.
Anybody else? please think about how to lower your fee. Seriously.
So, what are you doing in regard to training on sales off the platform?
So off platform. So it's so could you rephrase that to clarify what you mean by training off platform? You mean like the pre-trained models?
So you're creating personas
Yes.
based on live calls.
Yes.
Right? On the back end, you have to do some level of training so that the salespeople actually know how to react to those personas. What are you doing from an educational perspective off platform?
Well, that's the interesting part. Like, it's very natural. Like, how long does it take you to learn how to use ChatGPT or like any of these conversational platforms? Because from the day we're born, we learn how to communicate with other people. That's the biggest advantage of these like conversational intelligence, conversational AIs, is that to talk to them is natural. You don't have to like contort how you act in like some weird way usually. And that's why we were creating these like clones of client personalities to train with, because we believe that by training against these personality clones, it's almost like being in a real sales school, which means that your sales representatives can quicker get to actual paying customers and improve their product knowledge and communication skills.
So just imagine for a second, you have your company, you hire a lot of sales representatives, and instead of going through training programs that are out there that are taking on average over 11 months, now you can have your new guys train based on data points of what your clients are asking based on client interactions. So now you can have a perfectly crafted simulation on what your client wants in your company. And now in the simulation, we have an evaluation process. So we're telling you how to do it better based on product knowledge and communication skills, which are the two main reasons for failed sales meetings.
So this is a very big problem, and there are lots of companies trying to solve it. How are you acquiring your data that you need for your chat? And that's part one, and then we'll talk about part two in a second.
Oh, so I think that's one of those small parts. So many of you must have used this Autopilot, right? So it's a very common thing these days. You have a little bot that joins our calls and takes notes. We have that as well. We have a little bot. It joins all your sales calls. It takes notes from summaries of the conversation and so forth. And that is how we acquire the data we need to fine-tune these models on specific clients.
So it'll take time to acquire that data. You don't have any of it based on great stuff that's happening with sales calls.
So actually, that's actually a big point, right? Because one of our key selling features is it's customized for each client, because we believe that people are fundamentally different. And a lot of the large language models are very generic. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this big large language model, which is trained on the entirety of humanity, and narrow it down to a single person by using a transcript from his sales calls. Because they have a very strong theory of mind. They do actually know a lot of things. But what we're doing is we're just like taking this big thing, we're focusing down, saying, we have 2 hours of calls, because you have a lot of calls with the client usually. We have as long as we have budget data, we're trying to replicate this person.
I mean, I think they need this, and I think it's really important because right now sales training is a disaster for most people. But the other piece of it is they're